When life becomes a loop, you wake up. The same light filtering through the same window. You reach for your phone, the same apps, the same scroll. Another day, another repeat. But here's the twist. It's not life that's looping. It's your frequency. In product design, we obsess over loops, feedback systems that reinforce user behavior. That same philosophy applies to your life. Your reality isn't random. It's feedback. It mirrors your internal OS, your subconscious source code. Every emotion, every decision, every delay, every dream, they're all shaped by the identity that's running silently in the background, like legacy firmware on the most powerful hardware in the universe, you. And that's where we begin. 1. You don't have a life. You are the life. Think of yourself not as a human in the world, but as a human rendering it. Like an ultra-responsive UI, the universe isn't built from the outside in. It's coded from the inside out, from the vibration you emit. If life feels static, frozen in a loop, it's not because the universe is stuck. It's because your internal design hasn't shipped a new version yet. You're operating from an outdated identity, one built on past data, safe defaults, and cached emotional memory. And every day, that identity reboots itself with the same morning routines, the same internal dialogues, the same micro decisions you don't even realize you're making. It's not just familiarity, it's frequency inertia. In product ecosystems, we know legacy systems limit future functionality. Same goes for humans. You can't build the next version of you with yesterday's emotional architecture. You have to rewrite the kernel. Identity as code. We treat identity like it's fixed, like it's the serial number stamped on the back of the device. But it's not. Identity is dynamic. It's firmware, upgradable, rewritable, completely modular. And like any system, if you don't intentionally update it, it defaults to stability, not growth. That's why you can't will your way to a new life. You have to become it. You must build the identity that the future requires. An identity in this sense is more than your personality or your habits. It's your vibrational signature, the energetic signal your subconscious emits across the quantum field. Everything from quantum physics to user experience design agrees. The system responds not to what you want, but to who you are. That's the first principle of transformation, and it changes everything. 2. Why striving doesn't work. Picture this. A user wants a new feature. They beg for it. Email support. Leave reviews. But the codebase hasn't changed. The app does what it's told. That's manifestation without identity work. You want a better life, a bigger mission, a richer connection to your own potential. But if your frequency is still running last year's logic, the universe can't render new results, no matter how hard you work. Because at the quantum level, repetition is not just routine, it's resonance, and your reality is merely observing your identity and reflecting it back. That's the core loop, the feedback cycle of frequency. And to break it, you can't just desire a different output. You must change the source code of your self-definition. Not superficially, not visually, energetically. Why visualizing isn't enough. Visualization is like prototyping a new interface. It's helpful, but it's not the actual product. You can't just imagine a new life. You have to build a new frequency. This is where many people stall. They confuse intention with transformation, hope with upgrade. But the system doesn't register your hope. It registers your signal. And signal comes from your identity, not your effort. So what's your energetic signal right now? Are you trying to manifest a new relationship while still vibrating with abandonment? Launching a big idea while carrying old frequencies of rejection? Pushing forward while your emotional memory pulls you back? If so, your system is out of sync. And the universe, like any operating system, can't run code that conflicts with the core identity. The loop is not life, it's a design flaw. Here's a radical thought. What you've been calling my life may actually be an auto-played simulation of your subconscious defaults. You think you're making new choices, but in truth, you're watching a well-worn playback of your energy memory. This is how brilliant people stay stuck. Not because they're not smart, but because they don't understand the invisible OS that's running their daily experience. Your subconscious isn't evil. It's just safe. It repeats what it believes protects you, but that protection often becomes a prison, one so elegantly designed, you stop questioning its limitations. Like any lockdown ecosystem, your subconscious prefers consistency over expansion, and the price of that is possibility. 3. Energy as UX. Let's shift metaphors. Imagine your life as a product. The interface is your personality. The features are your behaviors. The code base is your identity. The back end is your subconscious frequency. To ship a new experience, you don't tweak the interface. You change the architecture. This is frequency work. This is identity engineering. And that's what breaks the loop. How the universe reads your code. It doesn't interpret words. It doesn't analyze goals. It reads your state. If you vibrate as unworthy, you'll attract validation loops of that belief. If you vibrate as unseen, your reality will mirror invisibility. If you vibrate as enough, your external world will begin rendering opportunities that match. And the cruelest part? You can't fake this. You can say all the affirmations you want, but if the energy underneath is still fear, that's the data that gets submitted to the quantum field. Your external world is not judging you. It's just syncing with your last energetic push. That's why real change doesn't start with effort. It starts with alignment. When identity shifts, everything does. Transformation doesn't begin when you move cities, leave jobs, or end relationships. It begins the moment you say internally, "This is no longer me." And you mean it. It's not poetic. It's not woo. It's a shift in your vibrational signature. And like a password change on a secure system, it alters everything that can access you. But let's be clear, this isn't always comfortable. You'll feel disoriented, disconnected, uncertain, because the old frequency won't want to go quietly. It will reintroduce you to the same thoughts, same habits, same storylines, hoping you'll take the bait. Don't. That discomfort isn't regression. It's the log out screen of your old self. Wait it out. Rewriting Reality, Part 2. Unlocking your internal UX, how to recode the subconscious and design a self that doesn't loop. When the mind wants change, but the body says no. Let's talk about friction, not in the interface, in the system underneath. That moment when you declare change, but your hands still reach for the familiar. Your voice still echoes with old stories. You scroll the same social feeds hoping for different results. This is energy inertia. It's the same resistance we face in product innovation. The legacy code that pushes back against every new release. You can change the UI. You can ship a new homepage. But if the backend rejects the update, you crash. The body does the same thing. Your energy system is still running scripts of anxiety, guilt, scarcity, old builds from an earlier season of you. And that's why no matter how beautiful your vision, if your frequency is still married to the past, the future can't hear you. The energy body, your invisible operating system. In design, we map user flows to understand how someone navigates a product. In life, we must do the same, mapping our own emotional pathways. Every thought, every automatic reaction, every default behavior, they form a blueprint. This isn't metaphor, this is architecture. Your energy body is an interlinked system of emotions, memories, and behaviors, and it informs every frequency you emit. So when we say change your life, what we really mean is update your emotional firmware. Let's make it real. Every morning when you wake up, your first thought sets your emotional tone. Your first habit triggers your vibrational memory. Your first emotion either locks in your old self or unlocks a new one. That's how the loop reboots, not by major life decisions, but by micro inputs. Step 1. Observe, don't obey. The first key to rewiring is awareness without attachment. Instead of saying, "I'm anxious," say, "Anxiety is moving through me." Instead of, "I failed again," say, "That thought is active, but it's not me." Why does this matter? Because in quantum systems, observation alters the observed. When you see a pattern clearly without being consumed by it, you shift your vibrational alignment. You stop being the loop, and you start becoming the observer. This is consciousness in design terms. Layer separation. You distinguish the identity layer from the emotional input layer. You stop embedding bugs into your sense of self. Step 2. Move your frequency. Frequency is not a metaphor, it's motion, energy encoded in behavior. That's why the body matters. Emotion lives in the nervous system. Trauma nests in posture. Repetition hides in muscle memory. If you want to break the loop, you don't just need to think differently. You need to move differently. Start the day with breath work or focused motion. Choose intention over impulse. Ask yourself, who do I choose to be today, before the world answers for you. This isn't self-help, it's energetic bootstrapping. These actions update your field, and over time, repetition becomes recognition. Your body learns the new frequency, and the old signal starts to fade. Step 3. Redirect attention. Like a laser, attention is your most powerful design tool. It's the cursor on your energetic desktop. It selects what you expand. It focuses what you create. And right now, it might be pointed backward. The moment you focus on lack, resistance, failure, you're running an old program. You're looping the same vibration through your field, and reality has no choice but to compile it. So what do? You don't fight the old frequency. You simply stop feeding it with attention. Instead, you redirect. Like a UI transition, graceful, fluid, elegant, you turn your focus to the new self, the version that's already encoded in you, waiting for boot. Attention in this sense is your most potent internal API. Master it, and you master your field. Step 4. Decision is a vibration. Change is not wishful, it's decisive. When you declare, this is who I am now. This thought is no longer valid. This version of me is deprecated. You send a broadcast to the quantum field, and the field listens, but only if you're consistent. Just like a device syncing across multiple environments, the new identity must be echoed through thought, emotion, action, all in harmony. Otherwise, your signal splits, and the old version keeps responding. So ask yourself, am I committed to the new self, or am I still checking back on the old one? In quantum design, the signal that repeats dominates. Choose yours wisely. Resistance is the signal of activation. Here's what no one tells you. When you're really close to change, when you're truly about to shift timelines, you don't feel bliss. You feel pressure. You question the process. You second-guess the tools. You feel uncertain, unanchored, even absurd. This is normal. In UX, we test for friction because we know the moment of user resistance is often the moment just before breakthrough. Same with identity shifts. The mind will scream, nothing's working. That's how you know you've broken the surface. So don't pull back. Don't re-anchor to old beliefs just because they're familiar. Move forward, even if you feel nothing. Because in the quantum field, frequency precedes evidence. You're already changing, you just haven't noticed. The subconscious doesn't speak in language. It speaks in patterns. So look for the subtle clues. A new thought pattern that interrupts the old one. A strange silence where fear used to live. A micro moment of peace, your nervous system catching its breath. These aren't glitches. They're signs. The system is upgrading, and your job is to trust the new software, even if it hasn't fully rendered on screen. In product development, this is called a silent update. The code pushes behind the scenes. The user doesn't see it yet, but everything's already different. The ritual of reinforcement. To anchor a new identity, repetition is everything. Think of it like a calibration cycle. Each morning, each night, each time you pause, reaffirm the new signal. Speak the thought that aligns with your highest version. Practice the emotion that your future self lives in daily. Move with the posture, the rhythm, the design language of the you you're becoming. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is encode it until it sinks. Frequency needs reinforcement. Not because it's weak, but because the old frequency was deeply embedded. The more often you operate from the new state, the faster your reality catches up. Rewriting reality, Part 3. The art of holding a new frequency. Collapse the loop. Create from alignment. The collapse. What happens when you truly shift? You've done it. You've stepped into the frequency of your new identity. But then, something strange happens. The old self doesn't just disappear, it flares. Old emotions rise like forgotten notifications. Doubts resurface like legacy bugs. People from your past ping your nervous system with old patterns. Why? Because you've triggered a timeline collapse. In quantum physics, when a new observation occurs, the old waveforms collapse. What this means in human terms is simple. When you no longer identify with your past, the energetic structures that supported it begin to dissolve. But before they do, they'll knock loudly. And your job is not to panic. Your job is to hold the line. Frequency regression, the temptation to go back. Here's the paradox. The more you align with your new self, the more seductive the old version becomes. It whispers, "Are you sure you're good enough? Maybe this is too far, too fast. What if you're wrong?" These aren't personal. They're vibrational echoes, residual data from a previous OS trying to reassert control. In UX, we call this user fallback behavior, old habits, familiar UI, muscle memory that resists a cleaner interface because it feels weird. Same with the subconscious. Your body, your energy system, your thoughts. They all crave the familiar. But if you engage the echo, you reactivate the loop. So what do? You observe the voice, but you don't respond to it. You acknowledge the emotion, but you don't identify with it. The key is internal consistency. Internal UX, holding the signal through uncertainty. You don't just design a better version of yourself, you maintain it. And maintenance means repetition, but not just action. Repetition of state, daily calibration of thought, intentional stillness, emotional signal hygiene, decluttering your energetic field. Just like background services in a high-performance OS, these unseen processes hold your new frequency in place. You don't see them working, but they are. The mistake most people make? They abandon the signal too soon. They say, "It's not working," because they don't see immediate evidence. But in quantum systems, alignment precedes form. If you're aligned, it's already happening, even if the 3D hasn't caught up yet. Letting go of the evidence. Loop results are deceptive, because if you're still checking for evidence every hour, refreshing your life like it's a browser tab, you're not in flow. You're in fear, and fear locks you into the very frequency you've outgrown. At Apple, we never build from fear. We build from vision, from what hasn't been seen yet, but is already true in our bones. You must do the same. Trust isn't passive. It's a decision to vibrate with the invisible long before it materializes. This is what separates those who design a new life from those who wait for one. Reality is a mirror, but mirrors have lag. You've been broadcasting your new signal, holding it, owning it, and yet people still treat you the same. Outcomes still feel slow. Your old environment still lingers. This is render lag. In digital systems, especially in animation pipelines, there's always a moment where the new frame is already loaded, but not yet visible. Same with life. Your new self is real, but your environment is still catching up to your internal render. So don't collapse your vibration to match the old world. Hold your frame rate, because when the update completes, it'll seem sudden to others, but to you, it'll feel inevitable. You've been it all along. Your new signal, a system-wide update. Once you fully embody the new frequency, things start to shift, subtly. Conversations feel easier. Your nervous system relaxes. Ideas land. Invitations come in from unexpected places. People say, "You feel different." That's not coincidence. That's signal fidelity. You're no longer reacting to life. You're designing it in real time. And from here, you begin to move not as someone trying to change, but as someone already changed. And that's the core of quantum design. You create not by fixing reality, but by choosing a self that makes your old problems irrelevant. Repetition, the ritual of identity encoding. Here's the final secret. Change doesn't stick just because you felt it once. It sticks because you reinforce it. Like biometric calibration and advanced authentication. The system needs multiple data points to validate a new user. Same with your subconscious. The more times you feel the new state, think from the new identity, act from the new field, the more your subconscious accepts the new frequency as normal. This is where many fall off. They expect transformation to be a one-time download, but identity is a signal stream, and to anchor it, you need rituals. Morning breath work, evening reflection, midday realignment, conscious language, physical presence. These aren't tools, they're reinforcement loops. UX touch points for your energetic design. Use them. Daily, build from alignment, not struggle. You've been taught to hustle, to grind, to prove. But quantum alignment works differently. You don't hustle your way into your new life. You match it energetically, pin in, and then let reality respond. And once it does, the shift is permanent. Because it's not based on willpower. It's based on vibration. And vibration is self-reinforcing. The new you attracts environments that support you. Those environments echo the new you. And the loop begins again, but this time in your favor. Now you're in a virtuous cycle, a forward spiral, a feedback loop of the future. The final frame. You are the designer. Let's end here. You are not stuck. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just between frequencies. You're hovering at the edge of your next identity. And all it takes is alignment with your truth, with your future self, with the field that's already coded to receive you, the real you. This is your upgrade, your new architecture, your redesigned operating system. You're not fixing your life. You're releasing the signal of a self you were always meant to become. And when you do, the universe, like any smart system, will respond in kind, silently, elegantly, unmistakably, just like that first boot of a brand new device. Fresh, clean, unapologetically aligned. Welcome to the new you.